Right now, we're talking with Democratic Representative from California's 21st Congressional District, Jim Costa, live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congressman Costa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Liz. It's always great, as I say, to be on Great Day.
I was told you say that every time you join us. All right, thanks so much. Well, as a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, what is your assessment of the ceasefire's durability, and what role, if any, should Congress play in reinforcing it diplomatically?
Well, I think the ceasefire is a good sign, and we hope that it is maintained and that we can build upon some level of a peace accord between Iran and Israel. Obviously, the nuclear weapons and the attempt for Iran to gain capacity to hold them has been a real problem. We still have not gotten the assessment on the reports of the intelligence of the success, but clearly it has been successful to the degree that it has brought a ceasefire, and Iran is now going to be back at the negotiating table. But these things have to sort themselves out, and we'll know a lot more in the next few weeks and next month as to not only the total damage of the nuclear sites that we were engaged in, but also the impacts it will have on Iran's willingness to negotiate a agreement that would prevent them from ever having nuclear weapons, which is a goal that I think we, on a bipartisan basis, will all agree on.
Congressman Costa, we're hearing a lot this morning regarding the leak of a national security assessment following that airstrike in Iran. I know that the defense secretary was very upset about it, says that an investigation is underway. What are you hearing about that leak this morning there on Capitol Hill?
Well, unfortunately, leaks are commonplace, and whether it occurred here within or whether it was from some of our allies in the Middle East remains to be seen. And that's why it's important that we have a briefing. We were supposed to have a briefing yesterday, and it didn't come to place. But Friday, we are supposed to have a bipartisan briefing by members of the House and the Secretary of State, along with the National Intelligence Agencies, to understand completely the ramifications of the bombings that we took place in over the weekend.
Speaking of the airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, there was no explicit congressional authorization. An impeachment resolution had been introduced yesterday. Because of that, you voted to table the inquiry for now. So why did you choose to hold off on the impeachment discussion?
Well, I think the president should have informed the Congress in the past. Precedent has worked in different ways. Sometimes the Congress has responded, sometimes they haven't. Certainly in an emergency, and the president felt that this was an emergency, he has the authority to take action. But I think given all that has taken place with this issue with Iran that goes back to 4 administrations in attempting to prevent them from gaining a nuclear capacity, there would have been bipartisan support for such an intervention. But clearly, we need to get the briefing, and clearly Congress has abdicated too much of what is our responsibility, in this case, to declare war to the executive branch. And I think Congress needs to reassert itself there, as well as on the issue of tariffs.
Coming back to domestic issues, the president's big bill still undergoing changes. A big issue that concerned a lot of people, especially in this area, was the sale of public lands. That plan was ruled out by Republicans yesterday. Do we know what was behind the move, and could Senator Mike Lee be planning to include that once again?
Well, there was, I think, bipartisan support to delete that issue on public lands. It was not clear under what authority there would be the sale of those public lands in our forests and elsewhere throughout the country. And simply putting this in a reconciliation package without the benefit of hearings and input from the public, I think was just a wrong path to go down. And I'm glad that it's no longer in the Senate version of the bill. We got tremendous concerns and opposition from constituents of ours and people who live up in those lands where there are a lot of, whether it's for recreation purposes in our high Sierra Nevada, or whether it's in other parts of the country with regards to public lands. And I think that this was the right thing to do.
The president recently did make comments regarding immigration relief, something again so timely. He talked about immigration relief for farm workers once again. You do have a bill in the works to address that issue. Can you tell us about it?
Right. The Farm Worker Modernization Act is a bipartisan piece of legislation that we passed out of the House in the last two Congresses. It would do the following. It would provide modification of the H-2A visas. It would provide a program in which agricultural workers in our valley and throughout the country would have legal status, earned legal status, and it would provide an opportunity to possibly create not only issues on border security, but dreamers, which the president has indicated he's concerned about, as well as DACA individuals. And so we need to fix this broken immigration system. I think the Farm Worker Modernization Act is a way to do that. And if the president would lean into this as we act on not only the House, but in the Senate, I think we could get a package that would bring relief. I've never seen the fear level in all the years that we have dealt with comprehensive immigration reform, as I have in the last 4 months, among people who, some members of the family are here legally, some are not. People are hesitant to go to work. Students are hesitant to go to school. And the current situation, I think, needs to be addressed because it's not good.
All right, Congressman Costa, we thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll be keeping tabs and seeing how some of these bills do continue to advance. But again, thank you so much for your time, and great day. We'll be right back.
Thank you.